There is a place where the day does not begin with urgency. No bells ring, no voices call out, nothing demands attention. Morning arrives here without announcing itself. It does not push away the night. It simply replaces it, slowly, gently, without effort. The sky holds a pale, even light, not bright, not dark, just enough to exist. The land beneath that sky is calm. Flat fields stretch quietly in every direction. They do not change, they do not move. They have no intention of doing anything at all. You are here now, not because you chose to arrive, not because you remember traveling, you are simply present. The ground beneath you feels steady, old, familiar, in a way that does not require memory. A narrow path runs through the fields. It is not meant to be followed quickly. It does not lead anywhere important. It exists because it always has. You begin walking along this path without deciding to. Your body understands before your thoughts do. There is no rush in your steps, no reason to hurry. Each step feels the same as the last. Soft, balanced, predictable. The air rests gently against your skin. It carries no strong temperature. No scent that asks to be noticed. It simply surrounds you. Breathing here feels different, not deeper, just slower. Your chest rises, then falls. Nothing else happens. The fields beside the path remain quiet. Grass stands still. Occasionally, a blade bends slightly, then returns to its place. There is no pattern to it, no rhythm to follow. Silence stretches comfortably. It does not feel empty, it feels complete. Somewhere far away, there might be a sound, so distant that it never fully arrives. If it exists at all, it fades before becoming clear. Your awareness begins to soften, not because you are tired, but because there is nothing to hold on to. Thoughts appear slowly, then dissolve just as slowly. They do not connect to one another, they do not form stories. They pass like faint clouds, barely shaped, barely noticed. The path beneath your feet becomes smoother as you continue, pressed flat by time rather than use. It has carried many steps before. It does not care whose steps they were. You notice your shoulders lowering slightly, your arms hanging heavier at your sides, your hands relaxing without instruction. Ahead, the land stretches onward. No buildings, no landmarks, no reason to remember this place later. And yet it feels safe. The light above you changes so gradually that it barely registers. The sky does not brighten, it does not darken, it simply settles into itself. Time here feels different, not slow, not fast, just unmeasured. You do not know how long you have been walking. You do not feel the need to know. The path curves very slightly, so slightly that it feels almost straight. Your body adjusts without thought. Your breathing becomes the most noticeable thing. Then even that begins to fade into the background. You continue moving forward, though the idea of forward feels less important now. Movement happens, direction does not matter. The fields widen, the space around you opens further. There is nothing to block your view, and nothing worth focusing on. The horizon remains soft and undefined. Edges blur gently. Nothing asks to be identified. Your steps grow quieter, not because the ground changes, but because your awareness does. Somewhere within you, effort disappears. You are not trying to walk. Walking is simply happening. The air feels the same with every breath. Neutral, consistent, reliable. There is no wind strong enough to matter. If a breeze passes, it does not linger. It arrives and leaves without ceremony. Silence returns immediately. Your thoughts grow even fainter now. They no longer take shape as words. They feel more like impressions, loose fragments that never come together. The path slopes downward just slightly, so gently that your body adjusts without conscious movement. Your steps remain steady. The ground continues to support you without question. You notice a sense of familiarity again, not recognition, not memory, just comfort. As though you have been in places like this many times before, places that do not demand anything, places that allow you to exist without purpose. Your breathing slows further. Each inhale lasts a little longer. Each exhale releases a little more weight. Your body feels heavier now, not tired, settled, as if it has found the exact position where nothing needs to be held. The path levels out once more, flat, even, reliable. Without deciding to, you stop walking. You stand still. There is no reason for the pause. It simply occurs. Time passes, or perhaps it does not. When you begin moving again, it feels different, not new, softer. Your steps barely register. The sound of movement fades almost completely. Low shapes appear in the distance, not hills, not objects, just gentle rises in the land. They do not approach, they do not recede, they remain exactly where they are. Your awareness drifts further inward. Sounds blend together. The voice guiding you may feel farther away now. That is fine. You do not need to listen carefully. You do not need to follow. The path curves again, so gently that it feels almost imagined. Ahead, the land opens into a wide, quiet space. There is nothing waiting there, and because of that, it feels safe. You move into this open space without effort. The ground feels the same. The air feels the same. Nothing changes. Your body relaxes further. Your neck softens. Your jaw loosens. Your face feels smooth and still. Breathing now happens without awareness. You no longer notice the beginning or end of each breath. They simply continue, slow, even comfortable. The world remains steady. Nothing enters, nothing leaves. There are no events here, no moments that need to be remembered. If you are still listening, that is fine. If you are no longer listening, that is even better. This story does not require attention. It does not require understanding. It only needs to exist. The light shifts again, so slowly that it feels more like settling than changing. Colors soften, edges blur further. You slow, then stop, standing quietly. Your body feels supported from the inside, as if it understands that nothing is expected of it. Thoughts dissolve before forming. Awareness drifts. Time loses its structure. The path beneath you feels endless. Not in a way that creates concern, but in a way that removes it. Endless means there is nowhere to arrive, nothing to miss. The sound of this narration fades further into the background. It becomes part of the quiet, not separate from it. Your breathing is deep now, heavy, even. Each breath gently pulls you further into rest. Nothing new will happen here. Nothing needs to. This place remains exactly as it is. And that is enough. You are free to rest here, free to drift, free to sleep. The path continues. The land remains calm, and everything stays the same. You find yourself still within the same quiet world. Or perhaps it is a different place entirely. It is difficult to tell, and it no longer feels important. The land around you feels familiar, not because you remember it, but because nothing about it asks to be remembered. The sky above remains calm and unchanged. Its color is gentle and undefined, not blue, not gray, just present. Light spreads evenly across everything. There are no sharp shadows. Nothing stands out enough to demand focus. You are moving again, though the moment when movement began is unclear. Your feet follow a surface that feels smooth and dependable. It supports you without effort. Each step arrives quietly, then leaves just as quietly. There is no sound to mark your progress. If your steps make any noise at all, it blends perfectly into the stillness. The air remains neutral. It does not cool you, it does not warm you, it simply exists around you. Breathing continues in its own slow rhythm, not deep, not shallow, just complete. Inhale, exhale, nothing else happens. The space around you feels wide now, open, uninterrupted. There are no walls here, no trees close enough to notice, no objects to avoid. The land stretches outward in long, soft lines. They do not guide your eyes anywhere specific. They simply exist as part of the scene. Your awareness begins to soften again. Perhaps it never fully returned. Thoughts drift through slowly, loosely. They do not arrive with urgency. They do not stay long enough to become clear. A thought might appear, then fade, before it finishes forming. Your shoulders remain low, your arms hang comfortably, your hands stay loose and relaxed. There is no tension anywhere that needs to be released. Your body has already done that work for you. The ground beneath your feet changes slightly, not enough to feel different, just enough to be noticed and then forgotten. It feels older here, pressed flat by time rather than footsteps. It holds your weight easily. You slow again without deciding to. Movement becomes gentler, almost optional. Time feels less solid now. Moments pass without edges. You are not aware of when one moment ends and another begins. The sky remains the same. If clouds exist, they are too thin to matter. They do not block light. They do not create patterns. Everything feels evenly balanced. Somewhere very far away, there may be a sound, not close enough to identify, not strong enough to hold attention. It fades before becoming real. Silence returns immediately untouched. You continue forward, though the idea of forward feels unnecessary. You are not going anywhere in particular. You are simply moving. Your breathing grows slower. Each breath lasts just a little longer than the last. There is no effort in it. Your chest rises gently, then settles. Your body feels heavier now, not tired, grounded, as if it has found a position that requires no adjustment. The land beside you begins to shift in subtle ways, very subtle, so subtle that you may not notice at first. The ground rises slightly to one side, then lowers again. Soft shapes form and dissolve without intention. They do not block your view, they do not invite exploration, they simply exist. Your awareness drifts inward again. The outside world feels less defined. Edges soften further. Sounds blend together into quiet. The voice guiding you may feel distant now. That is exactly as it should be. You do not need to focus on it. You can let it pass through without holding on. Your steps grow slower, then slower still. Eventually, you stop, standing quietly. There is no reason for stopping. It simply happens. The ground beneath you feels steady and reassuring. It does not shift. It does not sink. It holds you without question. Time stretches gently here, or perhaps it folds in on itself. Either way, it does not matter. Your breathing continues, slow, even, reliable. You notice how little effort it takes to remain here. You are not balancing. You are not holding yourself upright. Your body simply knows what to do. When movement resumes, it feels softer than before, less noticeable, as if the act of walking itself has slowed. Your steps barely register now. They arrive and leave without leaving impressions. The land opens again into a wide, quiet space, even wider than before. There is nothing waiting here, nothing hidden, nothing to discover, and because of that it feels safe. The light above you begins to soften further, not dimming, just settling. Colors fade slightly, edges blur more, your face relaxes completely, your jaw loosens, your eyes feel heavy. Breathing becomes automatic, you no longer notice when it starts or ends. Inhale blends into exhale, exhale blends into inhale. Your thoughts no longer form words, they exist as sensations, gentle impressions that drift and dissolve. The concept of time loses its shape. Minutes do not feel different from moments. There is no counting. The ground beneath you feels endless, not in a way that creates worry, in a way that removes it. Endless means there is nowhere you need to be. The sound of this narration fades further into the background. It becomes part of the environment, not separate, not important. If you are still listening, that is fine. If you are no longer listening clearly, that is better. This story does not require attention. It does not require memory. It only needs to continue quietly. The world around you remains unchanged. Nothing enters, nothing leaves. There are no events here, no moments that require response. Your body sinks further into rest, not downward, inward. Each breath gently carries you deeper into comfort. Nothing new will happen here. Nothing needs to. The land remains calm. The sky remains soft. And everything stays the same. You are free to rest here. Free to drift. Free to sleep. You are still here. Or perhaps here no longer means a place. There is a sense of continuation, not movement forward, not movement back, just continuation. Whatever came before has already softened. It no longer needs attention. It no longer asks to be remembered. The quiet remains. Your body is aware of itself in a gentle way, not sharply, not clearly, just enough to feel present. Your breathing continues without effort. In, out, slow, even. Each breath arrives when it arrives. Each breath leaves without urgency. Nothing needs to change. The space around you feels wide now, not open in a dramatic way. Open in a way that does not require looking. There is no horizon to focus on, no edge to reach. The ground beneath you feels steady, not cold, not warm, just solid. If you imagine standing, it feels natural. If you imagine sitting, it also feels natural. There is no wrong position here. Your body chooses what it needs. Time behaves differently in this place. Moments do not stack. They dissolve into each other. A moment becomes another moment without any sign that something new has begun. The air feels still, not completely motionless, but calm enough that movement is unimportant. If there is sound, it is distant, too distant to define. It does not ask for interpretation. You do not need to listen closely. Your awareness begins to soften further. Thoughts appear less often now. When they appear, they do not stay. They pass without shape, without story, without consequence. Your shoulders feel heavy, not uncomfortable, just settled. Your arms rest easily. Your hands feel loose. Your fingers do not hold anything. Your jaw relaxes. Your tongue rests naturally. Your face feels smooth. There is no expression to maintain. The space around you remains unchanged, and that is comforting. Nothing surprises you here. Nothing interrupts. The quiet feels familiar, as if you have known it longer than memory. Breathing continues. Slow, regular, automatic. You do not need to control it. Somewhere far away something may move, or maybe nothing moves at all. It does not matter. Your awareness drifts slightly inward, not deeply, just enough. The body begins to feel heavier, as if gravity has increased by a small, gentle amount, not enough to pull. just enough to hold. You feel supported from below, from within. The idea of effort fades. There is no task here, no destination, no progress to track. The concept of doing loses importance. You simply exist. The quiet stretches. It does not rush. It does not end. The air remains the same. The ground remains the same. You remain the same. Everything is steady. Your breathing grows slightly slower. Not by choice. It just happens. Each breath feels fuller. Each exhale lasts a little longer. The mind grows quieter between breaths. Thoughts that once felt close now feel far away, like something happening in another room. You are aware of them only faintly. They do not require response. The quiet becomes thicker, not heavy, just present, like a soft layer surrounding everything. You are not inside it. It is inside you. The idea of time becomes less useful. You cannot tell how long you have been here, and there is no reason to know. Moments do not accumulate, they dissolve. Your body sinks slightly, not downward, just inward. As if every muscle has agreed to rest at the same time, there is no tension to release. It has already gone. The quiet remains complete. Nothing changes, and because nothing changes, there is nothing to monitor. You do not need to stay alert. You do not need to stay aware. The voice you hear does not demand attention. It exists alongside the quiet, not separate from it. You may notice it fading in importance. That is expected. That is welcome. Breathing continues. The body feels safe. There is no signal of urgency, no reason to prepare. The nervous system settles slowly, naturally. The space around you remains unmarked. No details stand out. No edges call for focus. This is a place without instructions. Your awareness drifts again, further this time. The sense of having a position becomes vague. You are no longer certain where your body ends and the quiet begins. That uncertainty feels comfortable. Nothing needs definition. The ground feels softer now. Or maybe you feel heavier. Either way, the result is the same. Support. The quiet holds you. Your breathing is deep now, even unforced, in, out. Each breath gently pulls you further inward. Thoughts no longer form full sentences. They fragment, then disappear. Memory loosens its grip. You do not need to recall anything. You do not need to anticipate anything. There is only this moment. And even that feels optional. The quiet remains patient. Your awareness continues to drift, downward, inward, not falling, settling. The body feels warm, not hot, just comfortable. The idea of movement feels unnecessary. If you were to move, it would feel slow, and there is no reason to move. Everything you need is already present. The quiet does not change, and because it does not change, it becomes easier to rest. The voice becomes softer in importance. It blends into the background. Words matter less now, meaning dissolves. Sound becomes texture, then becomes silence. Your breathing remains slow, steady, reliable. You do not need to guide it. The body knows how to rest. The mind no longer needs to observe. Awareness thins, the quiet deepens. Nothing new will happen here. Nothing needs to. You are allowed to let go. You are allowed to drift. You are allowed to sleep. The quiet remains, and you remain within it. You do not need to arrive anywhere. You are already where you need to be. There is a feeling of stillness now, not sudden, not sharp. A stillness that has been slowly forming for a long time. It feels complete. The space around you has no urgency, no movement waiting to happen, no sound asking for attention. If there is space above you, it feels endless. If there is space below you, it feels solid and dependable. You are held between these two ideas, endlessness above, support below. Your body no longer checks itself. It has stopped asking questions. Breathing continues in its own quiet rhythm. In, out, slow enough that it barely registers. Each breath feels like it happens on its own. You are not involved. The muscles of your body feel loose, not limp, just resting in their natural state. Your legs feel heavy, not tired, just settled. Your arms feel the same, resting without effort. Your shoulders no longer hold anything. There is nothing placed on them, no weight, no responsibility. Your neck feels supported. Your head feels balanced. Nothing pulls you forward. Nothing pulls you back. The idea of direction fades. The quiet has a texture now, soft, even. It does not press against you. It surrounds you gently. You are not inside the quiet. You are part of it. Time stretches in a way that no longer makes sense. Seconds do not behave like seconds. Minutes do not behave like minutes. There is only a slow continuation. Thoughts appear less frequently now, and when they do, they arrive without clarity. They feel distant, unimportant. They dissolve before becoming complete. Your mind does not chase them. It does not need to. There is nothing to solve. Your breathing grows deeper, not heavier, just fuller. Each inhale fills the body gently. Each exhale releases without effort. The pause between breaths grows longer, comfortable, natural. Your nervous system recognizes safety here. There is no signal to stay alert. The body begins to rest more deeply. The quiet remains unchanged. There is no new detail to notice, no change in the environment. And that sameness becomes soothing. Your awareness drifts again, further away from sharp focus, closer to softness. The sense of having edges fades. Where your body begins and ends becomes unclear. That uncertainty feels peaceful. Nothing needs to be defined. The ground beneath you feels softer, or maybe you feel heavier again. Either way, there is no discomfort, only support. The quiet holds everything evenly. Breathing continues, in, out, slow, steady. The sound of breathing feels far away now, almost imagined. Your ears do not search for sound, they rest. Your eyes, even if closed, do not imagine images. There is nothing to see. Darkness feels neutral, not empty, just present. The idea of effort disappears completely. You are not trying to relax. You are simply relaxed. The quiet thickens slightly, like a soft blanket made of silence. It covers every thought, every sensation. The voice you hear blends into that blanket. It no longer stands apart. Words lose importance. Meaning fades gently. Your awareness becomes simple, less layered, less complex. Just being. The body feels warm, not hot, not cold, perfectly neutral. If there were a temperature, it would be exactly right. The sense of time continues to dissolve. You could have been here for a long while, or only moments. There is no way to tell, and there is no reason to know. Your breathing slows again, almost imperceptibly. The pause after each exhale grows longer, comfortable, safe. The body sinks further into rest. Muscles no longer respond to intention, not because they cannot, but because there is no intention left. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to hold. The quiet remains steady. The space around you does not shift. There are no surprises. Your mind no longer checks the surroundings. It trusts the stillness. That trust deepens the rest. Thoughts have almost stopped forming. Instead, there are soft impressions, half ideas. They do not develop. They fade. Your awareness drifts even deeper inward, not sharply, gradually, like sinking into something familiar. The body feels heavier again, not weighted, just grounded, as if gravity has increased just enough to keep you exactly where you are. There is no need to adjust position. Everything is already aligned. Breathing continues in, out, slow, even. The quiet does not change, it does not respond. And because it does not respond, it becomes easier to let go. The concept of listening softens. You are no longer actively listening. Sound exists, but it does not require attention. The voice becomes part of the background. Words blur together. You do not follow them anymore. Your body enters a deeper state of rest, the kind that does not need awareness, the kind that happens on its own. The quiet feels deeper now, not darker, just deeper, like a wide, still lake without ripples. Nothing breaks the surface. Your awareness floats briefly, then settles. The idea of floating fades too. There is only rest. Your breathing is now very slow, very gentle. The pauses between breaths feel long, but never uncomfortable. The body knows exactly what it is doing. Your mind no longer needs to supervise. The sense of self becomes faint, not gone, just quiet. You do not think about yourself. You do not think about anything. The quiet remains. And it remains without effort. You are allowed to sink further. You are allowed to stop noticing. You are allowed to sleep. Nothing will be missed. Nothing will change. The quiet will continue, and you can rest within it. There is nothing new happening, and that is exactly why it feels safe. The quiet continues without interruption. It does not ask anything from you. It does not expect a response. Your breathing moves softly in the background, so quiet that it feels like it belongs to the room, not just to you. In and out, slow, even, unnoticed. The body rests deeper now, not because you are trying to rest, but because there is no reason not to. Muscles remain loose. They have forgotten tension. They do not remember how to hold. Your legs feel distant, heavy in a pleasant way, as if they are resting somewhere far below awareness. Your arms feel the same. No impulse to move, no signal to adjust. The hands are still. The fingers rest naturally. Nothing curls, nothing stretches. Your shoulders remain low. They have dropped completely. There is nothing left for them to carry. Your neck feels supported. The head feels perfectly balanced. Not leaning, not pulling. Everything is aligned without effort. The quiet feels deeper again, not thicker, just calmer. Time has no structure here. It does not move forward. It does not move backward. It simply does not matter. Thoughts are no longer complete. They arrive as fragments, small pieces that do not connect, and then they dissolve. There is no need to follow them. They are too soft to hold. Your awareness drifts further away from sharpness, closer to a gentle blur. You are not focused, and you are not distracted. You are simply resting. Breathing slows again, barely noticeable. The pause after each exhale grows longer, comfortable, natural. The body recognizes this rhythm. It has used it many times before. It is the rhythm of sleep. The quiet remains unchanged. It does not surprise you. It does not demand attention. Because of that, your mind relaxes even more. The idea of effort disappears completely. You are not trying to sleep. You are not trying to stay awake. Both ideas feel irrelevant. The space around you feels stable. Nothing shifts. Nothing approaches. There is no sense of distance anymore. Near and far lose meaning. Your awareness no longer maps the room. It does not check edges. It does not search for sound. It trusts the stillness, and that trust allows the body to let go further. Breathing becomes softer, slower, almost silent. The chest rises gently, falls gently, no rush, no pause that feels forced, just a smooth continuation. The mind grows quieter with each breath, not suddenly, gradually, like a dimmer being turned down slowly. Thoughts fade into impressions. Impressions fade into nothing. The sense of listening softens again. Words begin to blur. You no longer hold on to sentences. They pass through without forming meaning. Your awareness drifts lower, deeper, further from the surface. The body feels warmer now, comfortably neutral. Every part feels supported. Nothing presses, nothing pulls. If there were a boundary between you and rest, it would be dissolving now. The quiet spreads evenly. It touches every corner of awareness. There is no resistance. Breathing continues. In, out slower than before. The pause after the exhale feels especially calm, like a moment of floating. Your nervous system settles completely. There is no alertness left to maintain. The mind releases its grip on control. The idea of control feels unnecessary. Your awareness becomes simple, not layered, not complex, just presence. Even presence begins to soften. The sense of being someone somewhere becomes faint. You do not disappear. You simply become quiet. The body sinks deeper into rest, like settling into a surface that slowly gives way. There is no bottom to reach, only softness. The quiet does not deepen anymore. It stabilizes. It stays exactly the same, and that sameness becomes comforting. Nothing will interrupt this moment. Nothing will change suddenly. You are safe to let go completely. Breathing continues without awareness. The body knows what to do. Your mind no longer checks on it. The voice you hear blends further into the background. It becomes part of the silence. Words lose their edges. They stretch. They blur. Meaning dissolves. Your awareness drifts again, lower, softer. There is no reason to stay alert. Sleep approaches naturally, not as an event, but as a gradual fading, like light, slowly leaving a room. The body relaxes even more deeply. Muscles feel almost absent, not numb, just forgotten. The face softens completely. The jaw releases, the tongue rests. There is no expression, no tension. The forehead is smooth, the eyes are completely at rest. There is nothing left to watch. Breathing becomes very slow now, very gentle. The pauses feel long, but never uncomfortable. The body is perfectly fine. The mind no longer questions anything. There are no questions. The quiet remains steady, unchanging, reliable. You do not need to stay with it. You can drift away. Sleep is allowed. Rest is allowed. Nothing will be missed. The quiet will continue, even if you are no longer aware of it. You can let go now. There is no need to listen. There is no need to think. Just rest. Nothing is required anymore. Not listening, not understanding, not remembering. The body already knows where it is going. Breathing continues on its own. Soft, slow, barely present. In, out. The pause after each breath feels longer now, comfortable, unnoticed. There is no sense of waiting, no sense of time passing. Time has loosened its shape. Minutes and seconds no longer separate themselves. Everything blends. The body rests deeper than before, not sinking, not falling, simply resting in place. Muscles are fully relaxed now. They are no longer holding their form. They feel distant, unimportant. Your legs feel heavy in a way that does not pull downward. They feel settled, done. Your arms feel the same, supported, still. Your hands do not need to move. They have no message to send. Your shoulders are completely at ease. There is no weight on them, no expectation. Your neck remains soft. The head feels balanced, as if it belongs exactly where it is. The face is smooth, the jaw is loose, the tongue rests without thought. The eyes are quiet. There is no effort behind them. Awareness itself becomes softer, less focused, less defined. You are no longer following words. They pass like distant sound. The voice blends into the quiet. It does not stand out anymore. You are drifting. Thoughts appear only as faint impressions. They do not complete themselves. They fade before they form. There is no need to stop them. They stop naturally. Breathing slows again, even more gentle. The chest rises almost imperceptibly, falls without effort. The body has entered its natural sleep rhythm. Your nervous system is fully settled. There is no alertness left to maintain. The sense of being awake grows faint. Awareness begins to thin, like mist spreading out. You are not focused. You are not distracted. You are simply resting. The space around you feels steady. Nothing changes. Nothing approaches. Silence feels familiar now, friendly. There is no reason to listen closely. There is no reason to stay aware. You are allowed to drift. The body releases a little more with every breath. Small adjustments happen on their own. The mind no longer checks the body. The idea of control has disappeared. There is no effort anywhere. Breathing continues. In, out, long pauses, natural. The pause feels like floating, weightless, still. Your awareness drifts lower, below thoughts, below attention. There is nothing to hold on to. The words you hear are no longer separate. They blur together. They soften, meaning fades. The quiet deepens. Not louder, not darker, just calmer. There is no edge to this calm, no boundary. It surrounds everything evenly. You no longer track where you are. There is no here or there, only rest. The body feels warm and neutral, perfectly supported. There is no pressure, no discomfort. The muscles feel almost invisible now. Your breathing becomes slower still. So slow it barely feels like movement. The pause after the exhale grows longer, peaceful. Your mind accepts this rhythm completely. There is nothing else to do. Awareness continues to drift, softly, naturally. The sense of listening fades further. You may notice moments where nothing registers at all. That is normal, that is rest. The voice becomes distant, almost part of the silence. You do not need to follow it. Sleep moves closer without announcing itself. There is no moment of crossing, only gradual fading like light dimming. The body settles fully now, no movement remains. Your breathing is steady and slow, the body is safe. The mind has let go. There are no thoughts forming clearly, only gentle emptiness. The quiet remains constant. It does not change and does not demand attention. You can let awareness fade completely. Nothing will interrupt this rest. There is no reason to stay awake. Sleep is allowed. Your awareness thins further. Like sound fading into distance, words stretch, they dissolve. Meaning is no longer important. The body rests deeply, naturally. Breathing continues without notice. The mind drifts beyond thought. There is no effort to remain present. You can let go completely now. The quiet will continue even if you are no longer aware of it. There is nothing else to do, nothing else to hear, just rest. You do not need to listen anymore. Even that idea can fade. The body already understands what to do. Breathing moves gently, slow, unforced, in, out. The pause between breaths stretches naturally, comfortable, unnoticed. There is no effort anywhere. Your body feels distant now, not heavy, not light, just present without demand. Your legs remain still. They no longer signal position. They simply rest. Your arms are quiet. They do not belong to action anymore. Your hands have softened completely. There is no tension left to release. The shoulders feel open and loose. Nothing rests on them. The neck is relaxed. The head balances itself effortlessly. Your face feels smooth and neutral. No expression remains. The jaw hangs slightly open, comfortable. The tongue rests gently, still. The eyes are calm behind closed lids. There is no movement. Awareness is faint now, soft around the edges. Thoughts do not form fully. They dissolve before becoming clear. There is no need to stop them. They fade on their own. The voice you hear feels distant, almost part of the quiet. Words lose their shape. Their meaning no longer matters. You are not following. You are drifting. Breathing slows again, barely noticeable. The chest rises subtly, falls slowly. Each breath feels like a gentle wave that does not reach the shore. The body has entered deep rest, a place it recognizes. The nervous system is calm. There is no alertness left, no vigilance, no waiting. Time has no structure here. Seconds and minutes blend together. The sense of now stretches wide and soft. There is nothing to anticipate, nothing to remember. You are not holding attention anymore. Awareness becomes thinner, more transparent, like mist thinning into air. The quiet is steady, it does not change, nothing interrupts it. Your breathing continues on its own, slow, even. The pause after each exhale grows longer, peaceful. The body trusts this rhythm. There is no control happening. The idea of effort is gone. You are allowed to rest completely. The mind releases its last grip. Thoughts no longer complete themselves. Images flicker faintly, then disappear. Nothing remains long enough to notice. The voice fades further into the background. It blends with silence. You do not need to stay aware of it. Sleep approaches without an edge, without a moment. There is no line between awake and asleep, only gradual softening. The body sinks into its natural stillness. Muscles feel almost absent now. Breathing continues in out long pauses, comfortable. The pause feels like floating, suspended still. Your awareness drifts lower, below thinking, below noticing. There is nothing to focus on, nothing to follow. The quiet surrounds everything evenly. It is not deep or shallow. It simply is. You feel safe here. There is no urgency. The mind does not search anymore. The body does not adjust. Everything remains settled. The idea of listening fades. You may notice gaps where nothing registers at all. That is rest. The voice becomes softer, more distant. Words stretch and blur. Meaning dissolves. Your breathing is slow and steady. The body has fully accepted sleep. Awareness thins even more, like light dimming gradually. There is no sudden darkness, only fading. The sense of self softens. There is no need to be anything. No role to maintain, no thought to finish. Everything slows, the body remains still. Breathing continues quietly, the mind floats. There is nothing to do, nothing to understand, nothing to remember. Sleep holds you gently. The quiet remains constant. It does not ask for attention. You can let awareness fade completely. Nothing will be missed. Nothing needs to be held. Rest continues naturally. The voice is now only a distant sound, almost gone. You are free to drift fully. Sleep deepens on its own. There is no effort required. No moment of transition, just rest. You do not need to stay awake. You do not need to listen. You do not need to understand. Everything is already slowing. Your body knows this place. Breathing continues on its own. Slow, soft, quiet. In, out. The pause. After each breath feels long and comfortable. There is no effort in breathing. It happens by itself. Your body is completely at rest now. The legs are still. The arms are still. The hands are still. There is no signal coming from the body anymore. It feels distant, almost forgotten. Your shoulders have dropped fully. The neck is loose. The head rests naturally, the face is smooth, the jaw relaxed, the tongue resting gently. The eyes are calm and unmoving. There is no need to adjust anything. The body has chosen stillness. Thoughts no longer connect to each other. They appear faintly, then fade. No story continues, no image remains. The mind does not follow anything anymore. The sound you hear is soft and far away. It does not ask for attention. Words stretch out. Spaces between them grow longer. Meaning dissolves. You are not holding awareness. Awareness is floating. Breathing becomes even slower. In, out, long pauses, safe pauses. Your nervous system is quiet. There is no alertness left, no readiness, no waiting. Time has no shape here. Moments blend together. There is no beginning or ending, just rest. The body sinks deeper into sleep. Muscles feel absent. The sense of weight disappears, or you feel supported without noticing what supports you. The idea of listening fades, or you may drift in and out of awareness. That is natural. That is sleep taking over. Nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to be remembered. Nothing needs to be controlled. Your breathing continues gently. The pause after the exhale feels peaceful, like floating. Awareness thins further. The edges soften. The voice becomes quieter, almost part of silence. Words lose form. There is no effort to follow them. You are already resting deeply. The mind has let go. There is no internal movement, no planning, no recalling, only calm, only quiet. Your body remains still. Breathing remains slow. The space between breaths widens, comfortable, natural. Sleep deepens without a moment. There is no line between now and sleep, just gradual fading. You are safe. You are resting. Nothing will interrupt this rest. The body remains calm. The mind remains quiet. Awareness drifts lower, below thought, below noticing. There is nothing to focus on, nothing to hold, nothing to resist. The quiet stays the same. It does not change. It does not move. It simply exists. The voice fades further. It becomes background, then distant, then barely there. You are free to drift completely. Sleep holds you gently. There is no effort, no transition, no awareness needed, only rest, only stillness, only quiet. Breathing continues in, out, long pause. Everything remains calm. You do not need to wake. You do not need to listen. You do not need to remember. Sleep continues naturally. You are still here. Or perhaps here no longer has meaning. There is no clear moment when the world settled into this quiet. It simply did. Like dust resting after drifting for a very long time. You do not need to remember how you arrived. The remembering would only add weight. And there is no need for weight now. Everything that once felt like movement has softened into stillness. Not frozen, not paused, just settled. You are aware of a gentle sense of space around you. Wide, open, unhurried space. It does not stretch endlessly, it does not close in. It simply exists at exactly the right size. Your body feels distant, not gone, just quiet. Breathing continues without effort. Each breath finds its own beginning. Each breath ends on its own. No instructions are needed. The air carries no temperature worth naming. It does not feel warm. It does not feel cool. It feels neutral, balanced. You may notice that the idea of time has become unclear. Minutes do not announce themselves. Seconds do not line up. Time is no longer moving forward. It is not moving backward either. It is resting. Somewhere far beyond your attention, there might once have been sounds, voices, wind, steps, thoughts. But here those things no longer arrive. This place does not invite activity. It does not ask questions. It does not expect responses. It allows. You are standing or floating or simply being in a wide, quiet plain. The ground beneath you is smooth, level, dependable. It does not sink. It does not rise. It supports without comment. If you try to look around, you notice there is nothing demanding your eyes. No sharp edges, no movement, no contrast. Everything shares the same soft tone. The sky above, and if it can be called sky, is a gentle layer of light. Not bright, not dim, just enough to remove shadows. Nothing casts a strong outline here. And because nothing stands out, your mind does not need to focus. Focus dissolves naturally. You may sense a subtle rhythm, not a sound, not a motion, more like a feeling, a slow, repeating calm. It does not hurry. It does not repeat exactly the same way twice. It simply continues. Your shoulders feel heavier now, not strained, just relaxed into gravity. Your jaw loosens, your tongue rests, your forehead smooths. There is no expression to hold. Thoughts might still appear briefly, but they arrive without urgency. They do not connect to one another. They fade before forming meaning, like fog that never becomes cloud. The world here does not reward attention, so attention gently lets go. You do not need to walk. You do not need to stop. Stillness feels like motion. Motion feels like rest. If you try to count your breaths, the counting slips away. Numbers feel unnecessary. Sequence feels unimportant. Breathing continues, slow and even. Each breath seems to move deeper than the last, not deeper into the body, deeper into quiet. The space around you feels familiar now, as if you have always been here, as if you never left. There is comfort in that familiarity. Nothing new is coming, nothing old is returning. This hour is not an hour measured by clocks. It is an hour measured by absence, an hour where nothing changes, and because nothing changes, there is nothing to monitor. Your awareness becomes wide and thin, spread gently across the space, not concentrated anywhere, like light passing through mist. You may feel a subtle sensation of sinking, not falling, just settling more completely into support. The ground beneath you feels softer now, not because it changed, but because you stopped resisting it. Your arms feel far away, your legs feel distant, your face feels neutral. You are not holding yourself together anymore. The world continues to remain quiet, faithfully quiet, as if it knows this is what you need. There are no landmarks here, no destinations, no edges, and without edges there is no need to decide direction. If this were a place with meaning, it might be called peaceful, but it does not need a name. Names require attention, and attention is resting. Your breathing slows just a little more. Each inhale arrives gently. Each exhale lingers. Between breaths, there is a soft pause, a pause that feels safe, a pause that feels complete. You are not waiting for the next breath. It arrives when it is ready. The quiet thickens slightly, not heavy, just full. The sense of you becomes less defined, not disappearing, just blending like a ripple fading back into still water. If there were thoughts earlier about tomorrow or yesterday or later, they no longer have a place here. This place exists outside of sequence. Here, nothing begins, nothing ends. There is only continuation. The light remains steady. The ground remains level. The air remains unchanged. Your body no longer sends signals that need attention. Comfort has replaced awareness. You may notice that the voice telling this story feels farther away now, not because it left, but because you no longer need to hold on to it. You are free to listen, free to drift, free to not listen at all. The words move slowly, evenly. They do not build toward anything. They are simply present. Your breathing now feels like the only movement left. And even that feels minimal. The pause between breaths stretches slightly longer. Still safe. Still complete. Nothing interrupts. There is no urgency anywhere. The mind stops scanning, stops checking, stops asking. It rests. The body follows. If sleep has not already arrived, it is very close now. Not approaching quickly, just waiting patiently. There is no moment when you need to decide to sleep. Sleep happens when the body recognizes safety, and safety is everywhere here. The quiet does not break, it does not thin, it stays. The hour where nothing changes continues, and in that unchanged space, rest deepens. You are allowed to let go completely now. There is nothing to hold, nothing to miss. Everything remains exactly as it should be, and you drift. The journey continues, though it no longer feels like a journey at all. It feels more like remaining exactly where you are, while everything else gently forgets to move. There is no clear moment when part 10 begins. It simply exists the way quiet exists in a room long after the door has closed. You are still here. Or perhaps here is no longer a place that can be pointed to. The ground beneath you feels steady, familiar, and unremarkable. Not soft, not hard, just present enough to hold you without asking anything in return. Your breathing continues in its own slow rhythm. In, out. Neither breath tries to be deeper than the last. Neither breath rushes to arrive anywhere. Air enters, air leaves. That is all. Nothing new needs to happen. The world around you feels settled, as though it reached its final shape a long time ago and never felt the need to change again. There are no edges demanding attention, no colors insisting on being named. Everything rests in muted tones, softened by time and stillness. If there is light, it is gentle and indirect, not bright enough to wake you, not dim enough to disappear, just enough to exist. You might sense space stretching outward but without distance. Near and far no longer mean anything. Everything feels equally present, equally unimportant. Your body feels heavier now, not weighed down, not tired in the way effort makes you tired, but comfortably settled like a stone resting at the bottom of calm water. Your shoulders no longer hold themselves up. They simply hang where they belong. Your arms rest easily, with no awareness of where they begin or end. Your hands are relaxed, fingers loose. Nothing clenched, nothing reaching. Your face feels smooth, jaw slack. Eyes heavy, whether open or closed, no longer matters. Thoughts attempt to form but dissolve before they can finish. They arrive without shape and leave without memory. There is nothing to solve, nothing to understand, nothing to remember later. Time has lost its edges. Moments no longer stack on top of each other. They simply spread out, flat and quiet, like a calm surface with no ripples. You may notice a sense of floating, even though you are perfectly supported, as if effort itself has been turned off. The path you once followed no longer feels like a path. It feels like a presence, something that exists whether you move or not. If you take a step, it happens without decision. If you remain still, that happens too. Both are equally effortless. There is a gentle sameness here, not boredom, not repetition, just consistency. The kind of sameness that tells your mind there are no surprises waiting. Far away, something might resemble a sound, not close enough to matter, not clear enough to identify. It fades before it can ask for attention. Silence returns, complete and untouched. Your breathing grows slower still, each breath longer than the one before, though you are not counting. There is no need to count. Your chest rises, pauses, falls. Between breaths, there is a brief moment where nothing happens at all. That moment grows longer. You sink gently into it. Your awareness softens further, like fabric worn smooth by time. Edges blur. Details disappear. The idea of being awake feels distant. The idea of sleeping feels unnecessary. You are simply resting. There is no pressure to drift anywhere, no instruction to relax further. It is already happening on its own. Your body understands this place. Muscles release without being asked. Your neck loosens. Your spine settles into its natural curve. You feel supported not by the ground, but by the absence of resistance. The world does not demand movement. It does not expect response. It allows you to remain exactly as you are. Time passes, or perhaps it does not. The difference no longer matters. There is a deep sense of safety here, not the kind that comes from protection, but the kind that comes from nothing being required. You do not need to listen. You do not need to follow. You do not need to imagine anything specific. This story does not move forward. It does not circle back. It simply stays. The quiet becomes thicker, softer, more complete. Your breathing continues, slow and even. Your heart works without effort. Your body takes care of itself. You might feel as though you are gently sinking, though you never move, or as though the world is rising around you slowly and without intention. Both feelings are harmless, both are comfortable. There are no changes ahead, no endings waiting to arrive. This part does not lead to another part. It exists to remain. If sleep comes now, it arrives naturally. If it has already arrived, nothing here will disturb it. The voice that may still be present feels distant, like a sound heard through water. It does not ask you to pay attention. It does not matter if it fades completely. Everything important has already been done. Your mind rests in open space. Your body rests in quiet weight. Nothing new will happen. Nothing needs to. You are free to remain here, free to drift, free to sink, to sleep. The world stays calm, the path remains steady, and everything continues exactly as it is.